Hare Krishna, kids. I hope I'm seen and heard clearly. Yes. Can you all see me, hear me? Okay. Thank you for the thumbs up, Mishika. I saw you. Some of the cameras are still off, so then I don't come to know. It'll be nice if you all can put on your cameras. I see a lot of short forms, blank screens. Please log in with your names. Then interaction is better. You all can, we can give you all a chance. You all can talk. Yeah, whoever hasn't logged in with their name, my request is please log in with your name. Yes. And whoever wants to lead in prayers, only those children put up their hands. Okay, so I can see Sharad's hand up. Sharad, you want to lead in prayers today? Here, I'm just...
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Sharad. So you will be leading us in prayers. We'll just wait for a minute because some kids are...
Prabhuji, I am Tanishka. I have remained renamed also.
Ah, thank you so much. Because see, what happens is we just land up seeing the name down. Okay, Tanishka. So, Hare Krishna and welcome everyone. Chapter 17 is what we're going to do. But before that, Tanishka is going to lead us in prayers. All right. So, everyone, please put your hands together and let's first take the name of the Lord, the blessings of the Lord and the Guru Parampara, and then move ahead. Okay. Tanishka, please lead us.
Om Namo Vishnu. Om Jnanate Virandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapatandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Punatan Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंकुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणम्.
Thank you so much, Tanishka. Thank you so much. All right, kids. So, chapter 17. Chapter 17 today. You know, this is known as the division of faith. Now, in this chapter also, we're going to be discussing Rajas, Sattva and Tama. Can you imagine the importance? In chapter 3, Krishna introduced the three modes, right? Chapter 14 may complete detail of all the three modes. And now again, all the three modes are further going to be retold with activities that we do on a daily basis. Eating, faith, charity. So can you just imagine how important it is to understand the three modes and then transcend from 1, 2, 3 and then finally reach the Shuddha Sattva mode? It's so very important. If it wasn't so very important, on the battlefield, kids, on the battlefield, do you think Krishna would have told so much in depth about these modes to Arjun? No. But because it was so important, not for Arjun, but more important for people like us. Okay? So let's begin this chapter and then I will tell you what about it. Who's going to read the first line? I see Bimla Devi's hand up, so I'm going to unmute Bimla Devi. Here we go. 1 minute. Mataji, can you unmute?
Unmuted her.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, go ahead.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hari Bol.
Translation. Arjun inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those
who do not follow the principles of scriptures but worship according to their own imagination. Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance?
Yes. So Arjun is asking, what about some people who just do things as per their own thing, not following the scriptures? Right? And we see a lot of people doing that today. Now, to give you an example, how many of you all have seen this movie called PK? How many of you all have seen this movie? Quickly in the chat boxes. I just want to know if you all have seen it, then you all will be able to relate to it. If not, I will still describe the whole scene filmy style to you all. Okay? Let me just see how many have seen it. Okay. 1 minute. I'm just trying to. A lot of chats coming in. Mataji, can you help me with the number of people who have said yes? I see some, like Riyansh has put his thumbs down, so he hasn't seen it. But how many people have said yes?
They've sent it on a personal chat, looks like.
Oh, okay, one sec then. Srirang says he saw drama. Siddhant has seen Mokshada. Siddhant, okay.
22 of them have said yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes, quite
okay.
a few have said yes.
So majority of you all have said yes, fine. So maybe for the ones who haven't seen. So basically, this was an interesting movie. At least this scene was very interesting. So as we see over here, people who do not follow the scriptures but worship as per their own imagination, right? And what is this own imagination and what happens in this? So the scene described over here is there is a college, all right? And it's April time, like now, exams and all are there typically in that time. So it's exam season. So this man who's the hero is trying to prove to this person that a lot of people have blind faith, right? They just go as per blind faith. They don't have actual knowledge. To prove his point, what he does, he said exams are going on and we're outside a college. He just takes a stone and he puts it over there and he puts some sindoor and some flowers and something, and people start worshipping it. But that worship is it really true worship? It's pure tamoguna. Why? Because people who come there are shown as reacting, how? Hey Bhagwan, mujhe exam mein pass kar dena. Second one comes, Bhagwan, ye lo, 100 rupees ka prasad, mujhe please pass kar dena. Third one comes, हे भगवान अगर मैं फर्स्ट आ गया तो मैं तुमको 10 किलो लड्डू चढ़ाऊंगा, and so on and so forth. So basically each one doesn't know what true worship is. B, they are coming for a barter deal with the Lord, right? And C, there it's given in our scriptures how a deity is, and deity ka installation hota hai. So all the temples that you see of ISKCON, for example, there is everything is given in our scriptures, how the deity has to be, how the pran pratishta in the deity is done, everything is given. But for people who don't do that and they just follow anything as per their whims and fancy, that is pure ignorance. And that is what Arjun is inquiring. What about such people? And now Krishna is answering. So you all have seen, most of you all have seen this. You all saw how people, all the students who are there, they go in to do all those barter deals. And what it is proving in the movie and in reality is that people worship in ignorance, right? So moving further in this, let's read this verse. 1 minute. Arnav, will you read that verse for us?
Yes, I've unmuted.
Yes, ma'am. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship the ghosts and the spirits. Bhagavad Gita 17.4.
Perfect. So when Arjun is inquiring, right, and now Krishna is clarifying that people are there in goodness, they worship the demigods, and as you see, there are all the demigods who are the controllers, right? Varuna, Ganesha, Kartika, Lord Shiva, all of them are controllers, right? So men in goodness go to these demigods, right? And it's fine. We have to give respect to the demigods, but sometimes people go to these demigods only for for fruits. Means if you see Bholenath is very easily pleased. Like if you know Ravana, he was a bhakt of Shiva, but he was worshipping Shiva for what? Only powers, and the powers to be used wrongly. So that is not goodness. That that is not worshipping demigods in goodness. Demigod worship in goodness is generally, if you see people around, they worship most of the demigods in goodness. So they are in goodness because they understand controllers. Then those who are in passion, right? They worship the demons. By demons, I mean it could even be someone who has power. So if you see people today worship very rich people, right? In many states in South India, if you know, there are temples for movie stars. They are worshipped. That's pure passion because they want to be like those they worship there, right? And the ones who are in ignorance, they worship all your ghosts and hobgoblins, and they want to do all these black magic and all of that, right? So that's what Krishna is explaining further over here. Now, as we've understood that these three modes are basic shackles and all of us are bound up in these three modes, we've understood that like we're basic puppets, right? And these three modes guide how we act in this material world, right? So it's not that goodness doesn't bind us. Even goodness binds us because we have to come take birth again and enjoy the fruits of that. So you will be born rich, you will be born with all the things that you need over here. That is wealth, knowledge, power, strength, right? And when you're in passion, you're typically into acquisition. You want, money, things. And when you're ignorance, then you're purely lost to gambling, alcohol, and you're, completely in laziness and delusion. Now, the three brothers that we saw in Ramayana, Kumbhakarna, Vibhishana, and Ravana, signify these three modes. Vibhishan was mode of goodness, right? He was always, so when he was asked, when he prayed also to the Lord, he prayed always to be in service of the Lord and always in remembrance of the Lord. And vis-a-vis that, uh, Ravan was always in passion, pure passion, wanted more. He just, having so much of money, he still wanted Kuvera's money, his own brother. He was his cousin brother. He had so many wives, but he still wanted someone else's wife. Pure passion, greed. And Kumbhakarna was in ignorance because half the time he was sleeping, and when he would get up, he would be eating. So we have to transcend these three modes, get to Shuddha Sattva, and that essentially comes by worship and understanding that Lord is the controller. So now in the table that you see in front of you, it shows what worship gives you what destiny in future. So when you worship Krishna, you can go either to one of the Vaikuntha planets. So if you're a Ram Bhakt, you'll go to the planet of Lord Ram. If you're a Narsimdev Bhakt, you'll go to all the avatars of the Lord have one planet in the Vaikuntha. Yes. And if you're in pure devotional service and you just want that, you love him in a way of the gopis or the way of Yashoda Maya or the way the kids, his friends loved him, you'll probably be in Golok. So that's one particular destination, and that's the topmost. If not that, and you worship demigods and you want opulences, things, enjoyment, then you'll go to heavens because heaven are a place of enjoyment. And if you worship the demons or the other so-called gods, then you're definitely finding a position in hell. And ghosts and hobgoblins, you're going to go back to the ghostly planets. Okay, now that is about worship. So worship in the three modes. What we spoke and what we discussed till now was worship in the three modes. That means Sattva, Raja, and Tamo affect our worship, and we can choose where we want to be. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about, and Krishna is going to explain, is just like worship, the food that you eat is also in the three modes. Sattva, Raja, and Tama. Can you believe it? You may think, really? Is it so? Yes. The food that we eat is also based on these three modes. Let's understand. Now, who's going to read this translation?
Vibhu Sangvi, he
Please go
couldn't
ahead.
unmute yesterday. I'll unmute him.
Okay, Vibhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Just be a little loud, Vibhu. And if
Hello.
we can see you, it'll be better. I can't see you.
Yeah. Now,
Yes, go ahead.
foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart.
Yes. So now Krishna is describing the food in the mode of goodness, right? And if you see the picture which is next to you, what is it typically? These are all natural foods, and these are food that is basically offered to the Lord. And if you typically want to offer food to the Lord, if you just use a tulsi patta along with it, right? That is most dear to the Lord. So what is about these foods? These food which are in goodness purify your existence. They increase the duration of your life. They make you healthy, happy, and satisfied. So typically, as you know, happiness depends on health, peace of mind, which comes from satisfaction, right? And physical strength also is needed, which comes from food that nourishes. So this is what food in goodness is, right? Basically, it means prasadam. So if you offer food to the Lord, it automatically gets into goodness. Now, the food that we eat typically is broken into three components, right? So food goes into our body, and that's how the body is nourished. You all understand that. Most of you all would have, you all are 12, 13, 14, some of you all. So you all know science. You all have seen that. So it's broken into three things. One is that's the grossest ingredient, which is not required. It goes as stool. The middle ingredient is absorbed in as flesh. And the subtlest ingredient of the food is absorbed in the mind. That affects your consciousness. So one is waste, which goes as excreta. One is which nourishes your body, which goes into your as flesh and all. And the third is the subtle ingredient, which is absorbed in the mind. So make sure that you eat healthy, because that is what you're going to be. Now, most of the diseases today are related to food habits. Diabetes, obesity, hypertension, extra salt, So most of the diseases today are related. If you have a lot of oily food, then heart diseases, right? If you don't have nuts, like walnut and other nuts, then the nourishment of your brain is not adequate. So food that you eat nourishes you and also affects your consciousness. Of course, that's the bottom line. But even on a day-to-day basis, if you're feeling very lazy, right, it means you're eating food which is not nourishing, which is junk. So try it, kids. One day, maybe you all would have also experienced it. Say you went for a birthday party or something, and you just all you ate over there was like chips and fries and burgers and basically maida, a lot of stuff related to maida and fried. Experience it next day. Either you'll not be able to clear your stomach, either you'll feel heavy that night, or you'll just feel lazy, if nothing else. Try it. I mean, I've experienced it, so I'm telling you, eat food. What you eat is what you are. So if we offer food to the Lord, right, then what happens? The consciousness, the third element, which I told you, the subtle element here, the subtlest agreement, which is ingredient, which is absorbed by the mind, that leads to your consciousness. That comes by ensuring that the food is offered to the Lord. So tell your parents, and I'm sure most of them are devotees, so they should cook with good consciousness. That means with the consciousness that I'm cooking not for myself, I'm cooking it for the Lord. It's going to be offered first to the Lord. And when it's ready, then you offer it with love and devotion to the Lord. And if you know a prayer, if you don't know, just at least 3 times say Om Shri Vishnu, Om Shri Vishnu, Om Shri Vishnu. And whatever you eat, right? Before you eat, please offer it to the Lord. Okay. Now that was goodness. Now talking about passion. Okay. Who's going to read this, Mataji?
Bhargavi, I can see some new name, Bhargavi the way.
Bhargavi, yes, who hasn't had a chance, if they're given, it'll be very nice.
I've unmuted her.
Yes, Bhargavi. If your camera is also on, it's better. Everyone can see you.
Yeah, her camera is on.
Translation.
Yes.
Food that are too bitter, too sour, too salty, hot, pungent, dry, dry and burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery, and disease.
Yes, once again, loudly. Once again. Can you read that once again?
Should I give someone else a chance?
Yes, yes, okay.
Soumya, I've unmuted you.
Yeah, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery, and
Yes. So typically something which is too bitter, salty, very hot, pungent, and they actually cause a lot of diseases. So for example, say chips, for example, right? It's salty, it's fried, right? Now, if you've ever seen people who ate stuff like that, a lot of fried stuff, it leads to diseases, right? And today we have world over so many competitions for stuff like this. If you see the picture, there are competitions who can eat how much chili. So stuff like that is there. This is like absolutely crazy because it's definitely going to affect you. In fact, red chili powder is supposed to be very harmful for your system. It's a fact. I mean, you can check it on later, right? Now coming to the third category of food. We've done pungent. That is now coming to the third. That is more in the mode of ignorance. Who's going to read this, please?
Ambika Mishra. I've unmuted you.
Yes, Ambika, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, please.
Translation food.
Can't hear you.
Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten. Food that is tasteless,
Decomposed and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of ignorance. I guess she's having a little trouble with her internet, so I just read it ahead.
Yes.
So kids, basically food that is kept too long, right, and gets decomposed, that is in the mode of ignorance. Now you all may think, a lot of food that we prepare, we keep prepared in the morning and then we also eat it later. But Krishna Prasad is an exception. It's transcendental because you're offering it to the Lord, right? So in Bombay and in other cities where everybody is working, so it's not practical sometimes, to cook freshly because people go to offices. So they cook in the morning and they leave and they have it in the evening. But the key is if you offer it to the Lord, then it's fine. But generally food, packaged food for that matter, why do we say packaged food is not good? Because it is made and kept for a long time with preservatives. So that is in the mode of ignorance because that's ultimately going to lead to ill health and ill consciousness. Okay. And if you've noticed also, a lot of food, if you keep for a period of time, even in the fridge, it gets something like this. You all may have noticed. Have you all seen something like this in your fridges? Sometime or the other, you'll see either bread, either something which is kept for a day or two. This is what happens. Okay, so you are what you eat, and based on the food that you eat, you're either in sattva, raja, or tamas. And we've done this earlier. I'm repeating it because Krishna is repeating it. He gave the details in the 14th chapter, but he's restating these because it's important. It is important to know. That's the reason. So sattva will give us balance, harmony, positivity, peace, and clarity. That is what sattva gives us. Rajas will give us activity, movement, energy, excitement, passion. And tamas will give us pure inertia, negativity. You'll land up thinking negative. You'll be inactive. Matlab, you'll be getting up in the morning and you won't be out of your bed for another 15, 20, 30 minutes. You'll be lazing around. You'll pick up the phone. There's dullness basically. Remember that picture that I showed you all, that fat guy with that big glass in front of him and he's having a straw and with all clutter around him? That way, and he's eating, he's gobbling and watching television, but that's the mood in which you are. So you are what you eat. Please, please watch the food that you eat. It's very important. So we understood about devotion, then we understood about food. Now Krishna is talking about sacrifice. All right.
Pranav Garg,
Yes.
because he's raising his hand.
Sure. Sacrifices. Yes.
Yes, Pranav.
Translation of sacrifices. The sacrifice performed according to the directions of scriptures as a matter of duty by those who desire no reward is of the nature of goodness.
Yes. So basically, if you're doing sacrifices as given in the scripture, it's fine. And we've already learned the 4 different yugas, there were 4 different kind of sacrifices. Who's going to tell me that? 4 yugas, what were the 4 kind of sacrifices? Anyone? Whoever puts up their hand for this. Okay? If your hand is up, please make sure that you know the answer, because Mataji can ask anyone.
Avni, sorry.
Avni. As per the scriptures, what are the 4 sacrifices given? And we have to perform sacrifices accordingly.
I'll unmute you. Wait. Sorry. Yes, go ahead. No, you couldn't. 1 second. I'll try again.
Otherwise, we'll give her a chance in the next slide.
She's very keen to answer this. Yes, I've unmuted you.
Yes, yes. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So the
Yes.
4 sacrifices in the 4 yugas were, like in the Satya Yuga, it was meditation. In Treta Yuga, it was yagya, the fire sacrifice. In Dwapar Yuga, it was worship, like deity worship.
Temple
And in
worship,
Kali
yes.
Yuga, it is Harinam Sankirtan.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Very well said. Yes. So if we do it as per the scriptures, then it is in the mode of goodness, right? And that's what we should do. Our current sacrifice is baki kuch nahi karna hai. Harinam and Sankirtan, either in a group or on your own. Okay. Now, next category after sacrifice, what is Krishna talking about? Austerities. Now, austerities, that means giving trouble to your body or controlling your body, is called austerity. Now, austerity is of, we normally land up thinking austerity is body. Oh, jaake meditation kiya, sitting in one position, but that is only one kind of a sacrifice. There are more types of austerities, and it is explained as BMW. That means there are austerities related to the body, the mind, and the words. Words may be austerity. Surprising, no? But it's a fact. We'll understand a little about this, okay? Now, first, austerities of the body. Who's going to read that?
Vaidehi wants to read, I think.
Please, Vaidehi, go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji. Austerity translation. Austerity of the body consists in worships of the Supreme Lord, the
Brahmanas,
the spiritual master, and superheroes like
superiors
superiors like the father and mother are clean lines
and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy,
and non-violence.
non-violence. Okay, so austerities of the body. Now, what is this? So let's understand a little, right? So austerity consists of worship of the Supreme Lord and Brahmanas and the spiritual master and superiors like father and mother. So basically what it means is when we have someone superior, we offer pranam. So the right way to offer pranam for the boys, you can go flat, dandavat, right? When you go to the temple, you can absolutely offer a plain dandavat pranam. So that is what is shown in the picture below. And all you girls can do it the way it is shown in the picture. You can bow down and worship. Now that is also was in the past, it was done for Brahmanas. Today you may not find Brahmanas, fine, but there is a spiritual master, yeah, right, who you may meet at the temple. And if no one else, like your parents, you have to offer obeisance to them because you've come from them and they've given you this human birth. So that's our duty. Okay, so that's one kind of austerity. But then austerity also related to cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. Yes, because today even keeping our body clean is a task. Now it once happened. Now I had heard this particular story in one of the lectures that when I was attending. So the Prabhuji had told me that once he was at the airport and someone approached Radhanath Swami Maharaj and he asked that, Prabhuji, you're, sorry, Swamiji, he said, they don't know Prabhuji, so they just think everyone's a Swami, whoever's wearing a saffron. So he said, you're Hare Krishna? And Maharaj said, yeah. So he says, oh, I've heard so much about you all. And I think you'll have a lot of, you'll bathe all the time. So Maharaj just smiled and he said, no, we bathe, but we don't bathe all the time. We do a lot of other devotional services, but we bathe thrice. He says, thrice? I said, yeah, thrice in a day we bathe. And that man was shocked. And this was at the airport, huh? And he said, Maharaj asked him, why? I'm sure you also take a bath every day, right? If we bathe thrice, at least you. He said, I take a bath, but I take a bath Sunday to Sunday. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? And this is the true story. I had heard it in one of my lectures. And I was like, my goodness me. So people find it difficult to even keep their body clean. And what do we mean by simplicity? Simplicity means being simple is also an austerity of the body. Everyone wants to be highly fashionable and do things like that, right? And maintaining even non-violence. People are generally controlling your hand is a task. So that's why we say that's an austerity of the body. Okay, moving ahead now. Who's going to read this? Now this comes to the next part, austerity of the mind. We learned. So next part we're going body, mind, and BMW. Words is third. So we did body, now word. Mind, sorry. BMW. Who's going to read this?
Unmuted Mishika.
Mishika. Yes, Mishika.
As
Satisfaction.
Simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind.
Yes. So basically your mind, as we've learned earlier, is like that, that monkey who cannot be at ease, right? So if he cannot be at ease means what? Usko kuch na kuch chahiye. And how can you put him at ease? By this austerity. That means satisfaction. If you have satisfaction, you've controlled the monkey. Matlab, even if he wants to run, you've put him down, right? Satisfaction is one of the most important things for peace, right? And that comes, and that's why it's called an austerity, because it's very difficult. It's very difficult to satisfy the mind. You'll tell the mind, nay, only so much chocolate is enough. No, but it'll say more, right? Similarly, for everything, you'll say, don't compare. Be satisfied with what you have, but your mind will again jump like a wild monkey here and there. So satisfaction of the mind is a difficult austerity, but it's a very important austerity. And if you have simplicity, it will make it easier for you. So that's why simplicity is also counted as one of the austerities of the mind. Self-control. Again, not getting angry, controlling yourself. Your senses want to do something, controlling them. It's an austerity, right? And who controls the five senses? Remember, we did the chariot example. The five senses are there, and the mind controls controls these five senses, right? So if you can control the mind, that means you've got control on the five senses. And purification of one's existence. That means basically to purify, you have to do devotional service, simple like chanting. And to chant also, you have to control your mind. Mind bolega, nahi baba, soja. You have to say, no, no, I have to get up in the morning and I have to do my chanting. Mind will say, okay, one day don't do chanting. What's the big deal? You have to control the mind and say, no, I have promised the Lord that I'm going to chant every day. If you've promised the Lord you're going to chant every day, you have to chant it. Okay. So we did the body, mind, and now W, word, BMW, the key thing that I told you. So we did body, mind. Now we've come to words, that is speech. Who's going to read this translation, please?
Srirang, I'm unmuting.
Yes.
Yes, Srirang, I've unmuted you.
Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature.
Yes. So basically, if you see, today, whatever we say, we either react or we respond. Reaction is what? Say your mother's calling you for dinner, okay? And at that time, you're either talking to your friend on the phone, or you're chatting, or maybe you're watching the laptop or something like that. And your mother says dinner is ready. And your reaction is, no, I'll have it later. Very brash. She's made food with love. She's put it in, ready for you, and she's serving you, and your reaction. So basically, that's the reason it says your words have to be truthful. Obviously, you speak the truth. Pleasing. That means the recipient who's hearing it should feel nice. Even if you're saying something, even if you're saying no, what do you say? No, thank you. Right? So if you're saying no, 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 thank you. Is there a difference? No, no, thank you. So basically, it has to be pleasing, beneficial. Now, by beneficial, we means a lot of time we may have to say correct our friends, right? So if we do it in a pleasing way, which is beneficial to them, then it will not agitate them, right? So if they've done something wrong, or they are saying something wrong, we have to try to modulate our voice, our speech, our word in such a way that if you want to benefit someone, you benefit him. If you cannot benefit him, at least you don't agitate him, right? And you please, kids, have to be extra careful when you're talking to your parents, teachers, and any other elder, right? Because what you tell them and how you tell them is critical. So please keep in mind when we're the BMW, right? And when you're talking about the words, please make sure that it doesn't hurt anyone's feelings or emotion, then it's pleasing. All right. Now you all must have experienced it. Now, I think we have some time. We can take one or two children who want to share some experience where you may have said something and later you repent, because that normally happens. We react, we don't respond. We basically, reaction is what kisi ne bola, and your immediate reaction. You're not responding, and later you repent. Oh my God, why did I do that? Yeah, you all have had that experience. Anyone wants to share something like that? If yes, please put up your hands. Mataji, then you can just give one or two people a chance.
Yeah. Okay.
If someone wants to share something like that.
Rashika. Yes, I've unmuted you.
Sir, what I wanted to say is, can you please repeat the question?
If you want to share any such experience, Rashika, whether when you've said something brashful, or you've said something and later you repented, oh my God, why did I say that to my elder, my teacher, or your parents?
Oh yeah, actually one time I lost it because I was quite small at that time, and my mom wasn't giving me my favorite toy. I wanted it for my birthday, but she was like, you already have so many toys and I won't let you buy. And then I just saying that I don't want to talk to you, and then I was like feeling so guilty and I was crying from inside, and then I slammed the door
Oh my
on her
God.
face.
Okay. Yeah. So see, that's what, later we repent. And so we should just try and keep that at the back of our mind all the time. That is the thing. Now, Prahlad Maharaj, he was virtually tortured, you can say, by his own father. He was put in boiling oil. He was thrown off a cliff. An elephant was wild elephant. He was put under a wild elephant, put along with poisonous snake. All the possible torture was done to him. But still, can you imagine, when he was speaking to his father, he would always talk sweetly and tell him that please take the name of the Lord. Please, you should humbly give yourself to the Lord. That is what he would still continue to say. And even later on, when Narsingh Dev arrived and killed his father, he just said, please forgive my father. After his death also, he's only requesting him for his father. So that's something that obviously Prahlad Maharaj was Prahlad Maharaj, but we can understand how important it is, to respect elders. And sometimes you may feel that, they are doing something which is not right, but it's very, very important. Now, I'll also tell you all a story of Narada Muni. The very own Narada Muni, he's such an exalted devotee, right? But even he did not obey his elders, and then what happened? So, as you know, he's the son of Brahmaji, and he had received the veena from Lord Krishna. So, but once Brahmaji asked him to get married, because Brahmaji creates. So when he creates, he wants people who can fill the world with the all the population, right? So he asked him to get married, but Narad Muni didn't want to get into that, so he refused. Now, refusing your father is also not right. So his father Brahma got very angry and he cursed him. So he was born a little lower, right? So he was born as a Gandharva. So he came one step lower. Now, when he was born as the Gandharva and he was singing for the demigods, once it so happened that he got attracted to one of the damsels who was dancing, and he skipped his rhythm because his focus was there. And then the demigods cursed him because they were dancing for whose pleasure? Demigods' pleasure. But he, in that, got involved in his own pleasure, and thereby he skipped some beats, and the demigods cursed him. And then he came further down. He was born on the earth planet, and he was born as the son of a maid servant. But he got an opportunity to serve the Vaishnavas, and because he had unavoid, so when you get association of the Vaishnavas, that means pure devotees, then again from when he came down cycle, then this was his up cycle again. So he served them. They stayed with him for a couple of months. They were poor, but still he served them, picked up their eminence, whatever service he could do. So he got the blessings. And then finally he was born again as Narada, and he could serve the Lord. Okay. Now we've done even about BMW concept, how you can do austerities of body, mind, and words. Now the next thing that we can do in 3 modes is charity. Even charity is in 3 modes. It could be in sattva, raja, or tama. So what the Lord is trying to explain in this chapter is everything that you do, you're governed by the 3 modes, even charity. Okay, now we'll understand about charity, how charity is in the 3 modes. Who's going to read this? Sriram, can you read that?
Sir, Mataji unmuted me.
Okay, so next we'll give Sriram a chance. Yes, who's this, please? Your name, dear?
Yeah, so my name is Laksh. So,
yes, Laksh, go ahead, please read this.
Charity given out of duty without expectation of return at the proper time and place and to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness.
Yes, so the key for charity is what is underlined in the first line, without expectation of return. That is the key when you're giving charity. Matlab, you don't give it to want something in return, right? That is the most important thing. And then, of course, it's important that you give it at a proper place and to a worthy person. You cannot, any charity given to anybody is not considered in the mode of goodness, right? And particularly when you do it with some expectation. Say, even if you're giving charity to a temple, but a lot of times people will say, what? अरे मेरा नाम उधर लगा देना, वो कुर्सी के ऊपर मेरा नाम लिखना चाहिए, donated by so and so. that doesn't count as charity in the mode of goodness. That is passion. You wanted something in return, right? Real charity is what? When you connect someone to the Lord, that is real charity. So that means if you give someone a Bhagavad Gita, if you give someone a Krishna book, if not that, you give someone any of Prabhupada's books. There are so many books for children that you'll find in the temple, right? If you give your friends that, that is real charity. Why? Because you're connecting them to where they have come from. Food, money, clothes, all of that given is fine to a needy, but someone who, what do we really need? We really need to get back home. And real charity, therefore, is if you can give them connection, if you give them in some way, you connect them. So, even to your friends, as you grow, please remember in some way, if you can connect them, that's great. And if you're giving money, put it in the right place. All right. Give it to the wrong person. No. Like if you see this picture, someone is giving charity. A lot of people have given charity in Corona. A lot of people have given charity when the floods are there. But you see, they'll be uploading it on Facebook with their pictures, with their names, right? So basically, they're doing it for either publicity or getting some return. That is in the mode of passion. Now, who's going to read this out for me? And the picture explains it all. Yes, who's going to read this out? Someone who hasn't had a chance, preferably someone whose
Guruji,
camera
I've
is
got
on,
a
so we also
chance.
see the person. Yes.
Guruji, I've got a chance.
You've got a chance. So you want to give someone else a chance? Okay. So Mataji, someone who hasn't got a chance.
Arnav?
But charity performed with the expectation of some return or with a desire for fruitive results or in a grudging mood is said to be charity in the mode of passion.
Yes. So as you see, as we discussed, if you want something in return, gaya. Matlab, you wanted, you're doing it for yourself, you're not doing it for someone else. Right? You either want some return or you want some results or grudging mood. Grudging mood is what? Are yaar, sar kha raha hai yaar, de do usko. A lot of time people, they'll come, you'll see they're asking for money and you're like, okay, just to get rid of it, okay, just take something and go away. It's like, meri jaan chodo. That kind of a thing. But that is not in the right spirit, as we say. Okay. So that's in the mode of passion. Now, what is ignorance? Let's go there. Who's going to read this out? Charity in the mode of ignorance.
Harsh?
Yes, go ahead, Harsh.
I'm unmuting Harsh. Harsh?
Any charity performed at an impure place and at an improper time to unworthy person or without proper attention and respect is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Yes. So basically the picture explains it all. Do you see the picture? There's a little boy who's giving some charity, but who is he giving it to? He's giving it to someone who's like an addict. So he needs money, but he needs money for his cigarette. So he must be an addict, pure ignorance, pure passion, person who's completely addicted to alcohol, smoking and all of that. So he's begging because he doesn't have money. And this poor kid thinking of helping, but actually he's not helping. He's making it worse because he's going to ultimately just smoke with that money. So if you do this kind of charity, unfortunately, it is in the mode of ignorance. So please be vigilant when you're giving charity also. All right. Now moving ahead, what is Krishna saying next? Mataji is going to read this.
Sai Shri.
Sai Shri.
1 second. I'll just unmute you. Yes, go ahead, Sai Shri.
Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the goal that the purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement.
Yes. So basically, what the Lord is reinstating over here is that you shouldn't be desiring results, right? And when you're doing all of these sacrifices and penance and charity, please make sure that you're not doing it for a result, because ultimately the purpose is to get free from material entanglement. Why are we doing all this? Because we realize we're in a jail, and we're governed by these three modes of material nature. We made some mistake in our past, and that's why we're here. But we are blessed to have a human form of life. That means we've done certain good activities that we have this human form of life. And if you're born in a good family with, other benefits like you have adequate food, clothing, shelter, that means you're blessed. So do sacrifices without expectation, then you will be free. All your activities, if you do without expectation, you will be free from the entanglement. Okay. Now, again, a very, very important verse.
Sanvi.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Anything done as sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the Supreme. O son of Pratha, it's the imperent, it is called as the Asat, and it is useless both in its life and the next.
Yes. So basically, if you do anything without faith in the Supreme, that means you're doing it just for the heck of doing it. It's a complete waste. Now, I'll tell you one real incident which comes to my mind in relation to this verse. Okay, now what is this verse saying? That if you do anything, sacrifice or charity, without faith in the Supreme, then it is useless. All right. So this real incident comes to my mind. So there was this friend of mine who was a doctor, and he was opening this new clinic of his, right? And he didn't believe in God, and I knew that he doesn't believe in God. So he was opening his clinic, so he called me, and I went for the opening. And when I went for the opening, I saw, Arey, Satyanarayan Puja and all is happening. And I was like, boss, since when have you started believing in God? And if you have, I'm very glad. Better late than never. He said, Arey, yaar, it's not that. Let me explain to you. I said, okay, explain. He said, see, all my staff is there. All of them believe. So they said, Arey, let's do puja. What I thought, that let them be happy, and it's just going to cost me 2,000 rupees. Okay, the entire cost of the puja is 2,000. So if God is there, he'll be happy. If he's not there, then also I'm not affected. So that was his reaction. So basically he was doing it, but he was doing it without any faith. So that kind of activity, whatever you do, is a complete waste in this life and next. This was a real incident, and if people do it with this attitude, complete waste. That is what the Lord is saying, right? So what is the key take home for today? This is like the third time, or maybe at least the second time, that I'm asking you the key take home about the modes. So you all understand how important the modes are. Okay, so what's the key take home? Now, we have few minutes before we get on with the shloka with Daksha Mataji. So we can give, I think, 3 or 4 children a chance, Mataji, to tell us.
Prabhuji, this side. I can see many hands raised up.
So who hasn't spoken preferably? And if their cameras are on, even better, because then we can.
Bhargavi, I give her the chance. Yes, Bhargavi.
Thank you, Mataji. I learned that we have to give charity, but without any selfishness.
Selfishness. Okay, perfect. Okay, next I can see Dhwani Kataria's.
Prabhuji, I would also like to share some experience of charity.
Please, very nice. Please go ahead.
I have a very good friend since nursery. Her name is Sita. So me and Sita are very good friends. She usually goes to Odisha, and she knows that I like Lord Jagannath Ji a lot, and I find his DT. But I couldn't get it. But when she went to Odisha, she had got some Jagannath Ji DTs for me.
Oh.
Tiny baby ones.
Okay. Okay. Good. So that means she's a true friend of yours. At least she knows what you like, and she's given you. So that's getting a gift she's given you in the mode of goodness. Very good. Okay.
Dhwani.
Yes, Dhwani. What do you take home for today's class, Dhwani?
No, we can't hear you.
Okay, then we go to Radhi. I see Radhi.
Now,
Can't hear
now you
Dhwani.
can hear me.
Yes, Dhwani,
Yeah.
little bit.
So give
Sorry, Dhwani, your voice is
Krishna.
cracking. I guess some internet connection issues. Let's go to Radhi Himraj.
Yes, I've unmuted her.
Yes, go ahead, dear.
Yes, I've unmuted you.
Yes, Prabhuji, connecting to God is real charity.
Connecting others to God is real charity. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the real charity you can do if you connect them in some way. Very good. Thank you so much.
I
Yes.
think it's RG. I know. I'm seeing her. Yes, I've unmuted you.
Why have you logged in as RG?
Prabhuji, my name is Radha Priya.
Yes. So why RG? Okay.
Prabhuji, I forgot to change my name.
No problem. Go ahead. What did you take home, dear?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I learned that simplicity, gravity, self-control, purification, and satisfaction of one's existence are the austerity of mind, and charity should be given without the expectations to have something in return. And anything done as sacrifice, charity, or penance without the faith in God is useless.
Very good. Very well said. Perfect. Great. Thank you. Next, Ambika Mishra. I see her hand raised, but I don't see her. I see only her name flashing.
I've unmuted Ambika.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, louder.
Today's class I learned that we should eat only healthy food and we should be always blessed to God, and we should not be anger and sad anytime. We should be happy and believe on God.
Okay. Okay. That's something that we've learned through all these days. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Sai. I see Sai's name here.
Yes, I've unmuted her side.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I learned that in today's class about the food that we offer Bhoga to Krishna, that is transcendental mood. The food the food that increases the duration of our life, which are juicy, fatty, that are in mode of goodness. The mode of passion, which are junk food, the mood of passion there, and ignorance of the tree or hours. When they are spoiled, they are eaten, they are in the mode of ignorance.
Yes. So basically, all what you said was perfect for the food of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Very well said. Thank you so much. Okay. Mokshada next. Yes, Mokshada, your hand is raised. What's your key take home for today?
Hare Krishna. My key take home for today is that what we eat, that is we are, and we should do charity in a good way, not not like that helper which is asking for help, that I need help for weed.
Correct.
Not that.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Last for the day, Pratyaksha. What's your key take home, Pratyaksha? One minute.
Yes, I've unmuted her.
Okay. Can't hear you.
No, she can't unmute herself.
Oh, okay. Then who else's hand is up? One sec. Who hasn't got a chance? Srirang got a chance?
Srirang, is it?
Did he get a chance today? Otherwise, we can give him a chance and then we'll go ahead with the shloka mat.
Okay, I've unmuted.
Prabhuji, can I tell the key take home and also a question?
First, you tell me the key take home.
Okay, Prabhuji. Prabhuji means like we should be always means we should always be conscious that we are not doing work of which is of passion and ignorance, and passion, goodness and ignorance. We should go to transcendental mode, and we should like always look, means we should always think before any thing we are doing if it is correct.
Anything we're doing means basically whatever action. So whether you eat food, whether you do, whatever you do,
charity, whatever we are.
Keep in mind whether, right. And you please remember that we all have to perform austerities. So austerities are not only of the body, but body, mind, and words. Okay. We have shortage of time, Srirang. Tomorrow we are going to have a long question hour session. One more thing that comes to my mind before I give Daksha Mataji over for the shloka is, this very famous sculpture, Michelangelo. You all may have heard this name, right? So he's very famous and he's made these beautiful sculptures in Europe. And once this journalist asked him, how do you land up making masterpieces all the time? So this guy, he just gave one line answer. He says, it's very simple. I just chip off all the unwanted. So with that statement, if we can understand that how a sculpture just chips off whatever is unwanted and then the beautiful sculpture is made, similarly for us, whatever we do, if we just chip off whatever is rajas and tamas, right, then automatically what we will be left with is sattva. And the more we spend time in sattva, automatically we will move to shuddha sattva. So on that note, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Daksha Mataji, for the shloka.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So today we are going to learn a very nice shloka, and this shloka will tell us what happens if we eat food in the mode of goodness. And we will also know from this shloka how is the food in mode of goodness. So all right, that this is 17.8, verse number 17.8. So are you all excited to learn this verse? Yes or no?
Oops.
Okay. We'll
Mataji,
start the verse. Yes, yes,
for some
Prabhuji?
reason I'm not finding the Sanskrit of that
Okay,
verse.
fine. I will forward, Lekha Mataji, I'll forward that verse to you. Will you be able to share, or Prabhuji, I'll share it with you?
I'll just share it on the group. I'll just try and do it.
Yeah. All
sorry,
right. Just give me a minute. 1 second.
I too will share it. I'll try sharing it.
Mataji, Lekha Mataji will try to share it. Thank you.
So, Mataji, did you get the verse?
Yes, I'll share it now.
Yeah. All right.
So in the meantime, I'm unmuting Dhwani so that then Dhwani, you can give your take home for the day. By the time the verse is being uploaded, Dhwani, what's your take home?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, tell me, what did you learn today, or what did you understand from today's chapter?
So give charity, but without any selfishness.
Without any selfish motive. What kind of charity is that if you do it without selfishness? It is in the mode of goodness, right? Okay.
Can you see it on screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, Mataji.
We can see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, children. So we will do this verse, which will teach us what are the foods in the mode of goodness and what happens if we eat food in the mode of goodness. So first line, first word. Ayuha. Please repeat after me. Ayuha. Ayu means the duration of your life. Ayuha. Sattva. 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 Sattva means your existence. Now these two words have been combined to one word, Bala and Arogya. So it has become Balarogya. Bala means strength and Arogya means your health. So these two words have been combined to become one word, Balarogya. 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 So this is the first line. Ayu Sattva Balarogya. So what happens if we eat the food in the mode of goodness? Next line. Sukha. 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 Next word. Preeti. 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 Vivardhanaha. 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 So what happens if you eat food in the mode of goodness? It increases your ayu, duration of life. It purifies your existence. It makes you strong and healthy. And it gives you a lot of happiness, sukha, happiness it gives you. And it also gives you satisfaction. Preeti means satisfaction. Vivardhana means it increases all these things. All right, so these are the first two lines. We will see the meter. Ayu Sattva Balarogya. Repeat after me. Sukha Preeti Vivardhanaha. Okay, so from these two lines, we have learned what happens when we eat the food in mode of goodness. So the next line will tell us how are these food. So first word of the third line, Rasyaha. Rasyaha. Rasya means they are juicy. Rasyaha. Rasyaha. Snigdhaha. Snigdha means they are fatty. Snigdhaha. Snigdhaha. अरे आजकल लोग बोले फैटी फूड खा के हमारा वजन बढ़ेगा, ऐसा कैसे खा सकते हैं हम लोग? लेकिन बट द फूड इन द मूड ऑफ गुडनेस आर फैटी, लाइक you know, they are healthy also, juicy also, fatty also, so it is okay to eat those food. Okay. Sthira. Sthira means they are wholesome. Sthira. Rudya. It is not Rudaya, okay? It is Rudya. There is a dot below the R which makes it Ru. Rudya, not Rudaya. It is Rudya. Rudya means it is very pleasing to the heart. Such food is very pleasing to the heart. All right. So the meter goes like this. Rasya snigdha sthira rudya. The next line. Aharaha means food. Ahara means food. Aharaha. 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 Satvika. Satvika means in the mode of goodness. Satvika. Satvika. Priyaha means they are very dear to the people in mode of goodness. This type of food is very dear to the people in mode of goodness. Priyaha. 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 So the meter goes like this. Aharaha satvika priyaha. Got it? Got all the verse perfectly? So now we will recite, okay, the whole verse. Ayuha sattva balarogya. Please repeat after me. Sukha priti vivardhanaha. Rasyaha snigdhaha sthirarudya. Aharaha satvika priyaha. Again the whole verse, all right? Now you can repeat with me. Ayuha sattva balarogya sukha priti vivardhanaha. Rasyaha snigdha sthirarudya. Aharaha satvika priyaha. One more time. Ayuha sattva balarogya sukha priti vivardhanaha. Rasyaha snigdhaha sthirarudya. Aharaha satvika priyaha. All right, I hope everybody has got this verse. Such an interesting verse, such a nice verse. You learn so many things from this verse, right? Food in the mode of goodness and what are the benefits when you eat such food. So please, please, please try to memorize this word. All right, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, kids. We're at the end of chapter 17 and tomorrow is the last chapter. Last chapter of Bhagavad Gita tomorrow. And Shubh-Vilas Prabhuji is going to be here at the end to answer your questions. Please keep them ready. All right. So we meet tomorrow, same time. And thank you very much. You all have been with us for nearly 4 weeks. And that shows that you all are really, really keen on understanding more of what Krishna has to say and follow the manual for life. If you manage to do that, kids, your life is successful, right? So thank you so very much. Hare Krishna. See you all tomorrow. Bolo Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhagavad Gita Granth ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hari Bol Prabhuji.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.